What's up, guys? James from James Reptiles. I don't really have a video idea today, so I'm just going to show you a bunch of crested geckos, and I get the camera faced a certain way so I can like make sure they're on screen, and it'll be angled and you'll be able to see them. And they're like, oh, look at a little gecko. And I'll talk about, I guess, maybe not what morph, but like the polygenic traits that I see in it, and if anyone knows anything else, they can comment something, because I'm not an expert, I'll tell you that. I've only been breeding cresteds for like 7 months. But let's get started. I'll start with my adult and I work my way down all the way to my last and most recent baby. Let's go. It's cool! Alright, this is Olga. This is Bella. I'll get to her in a second. Bella because beautiful, Olga because ugly, just because it helps me differentiate the two. She was the only adult crested gecko I've ever purchased. I bought a group of 4 off of someone on Facebook for $100. And right now she's breeding. She's definitely laying eggs. She's probably got eggs in her right now. Maybe. They're about due to lay again in about 3 or 4 days. But she's definitely got some freckling on her. And I think they call that a flame with portholes. A little bit of knee, a little bit of thigh, whatever you call it. Little frog butt girl. She's really awesome. Not much to say on her except she's not the prettiest gecko, but if I can double my production in this first year by adding a second female, I'm gonna do that. It'll let me offer some lower end stuff for people and help me move some sales, and that's what's up with her. Let me grab Bella. And Bella, along with Skipper, who I'm about to show you guys, was actually given to me with the big Exoterra. You can see right there. Now she's almost a full pin, partial pin. That's what they call it. I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what the markings on her side are called, but when she tucks her legs in, they match up with the thigh or the knee saddles, whatever you call them. She's also got the thigh ones, pretty good size. She's got a good sized crest. She's really got a really long face, which I'm pretty sure is a good thing. I think that's like specifically a good thing. And it's hard to tell with this lighting, but she's definitely got some Dalmatian spots going on. Not a ton where I would call her a Dalmatian, but she definitely got some. And she's also got some red spots up around her face. And she's a frog butt. So these are my 2 breeding females for this first year. Obviously next year I'm going to have some raised up, or by the time they're raised up. I don't know. Crested geckos are weird. I hear a lot of people say they only breed certain seasons. I breed mine year round, or I have so far. I haven't got a full year. And just every once in a while I take the male out, and that's how I do it. So Olga and Bella, and I'll get it Skipper right now. Alright, so this here, actually let me move this, see if I get some better lighting. Let's see, let's play around with this lighting. That's really good right there, actually. So this is Skipper. He's my breeder male that I have with those 2 females. Obviously a male, obviously a frog butt. He was given to me too by the same guy. Really nice guy. Takes very good pride in his animals and buys expensive animals. He's got a really big crest, and he's a partial pin, pretty close. I'm not sure what this pattern on the inside is called. I think it might be called something, but I have no idea, honestly. I don't know if you consider those portholes or not, but they're pretty big. He's also got the thigh and the knee thing. I don't know what those are called. If you know, I've heard them called a couple different things, but whatever you call them, let me know in the comments. That'll help me out. And he also has some Dalmatian spots. So I did buy a bunch of Dalmatian babies, and I'll show those to you guys too. But if him and Bella produce anything that has substantial Dalmatian spots on it, it'll definitely be a holdback, because Dalmatians are my favorite. And I'd really love to see something like this, but a full pin with a big crest and lots of Dalmatian spots. That'd be like a quintessential out of this pairing for me. And I think eventually if I hold back the ones that have closer and closer to those traits, eventually it'll happen. So I'll put him back and we'll get out Cletus and Paradise. Alright, this is Cletus, if I get it to focus. This is Cletus right here. He's got just a little bit of Dalmatian spots, but I'm pretty sure you consider that either a flame or a tiger. It's hard to tell. And then all those side markings. And I just happen to really like his tail. I like the way it turns to that darker color. And he has the thigh and the knee fringe. You might call it a fringe too. But he's not really pinstriped. And his crown actually just today, I've never seen this before, but it's doing this weird thing where it's sticking up. Let me aim him at the camera. See that? You see how it's sticking up? It's really interesting. I've never really like seen that. But Cletus was the first gecko that I produced, and I didn't even really produce it. When my buddy gave me the enclosure, there were a bunch of eggs I thought were bad, and I just kind of left some eggshells in there. And eventually, I found Cletus walking around like he had probably just hatched that day or something like that, and that was the first baby I had. And so, of course, the first baby, I'm gonna hold Cletus back, whether it's a boy or a girl. I'm breeding Cletus. I don't care. My first baby, and I think he's really beautiful. He when he fires up, he gets this high like orange black almost contrast. Not like super orange black like you would want to see, but it's definitely a big wow factor. And hopefully his crest ends up being really big. The flare thing is confusing me. I don't know if that's because he's dehydrated. I spray him every other day like I always do, and I did yesterday. But I'll go get Paradise, and we'll look at Paradise next. Alright, this is Paradise. Paradise is a lot lighter color than a lot of my geckos, which I quite like. And Paradise has some good Dalmatian spots, especially right there on her partial pin that she has. And she's got just little bits of knee stuff, but she's got the thigh thing for sure. And her fringe may not be as big, quite as big as Cletus's, or I don't know, I hope it's as big, but from what I've never like grown a gecko up all the way. Now her I actually bought from Paradise Cresteds, which I feel like I got a good deal. I paid $75 for her, I think. But when I first got her, this arm right here had a little bit of metabolic bone disease going on, and just regular food and calcium dusted crickets seem to be just fine. It doesn't seem disformed at all anymore. Not really sure what was up with that, but she seems fine now, and she's growing. Hopefully she's a she. These two are in their own tub. They're in a lot bigger tub, probably about the size of the Exoterra, but longer. I keep a lot of my babies in smaller tubs in groups, but when they get to a bigger size, I like to upgrade them. So these guys, along with the next ones I'm going to show you, are in bigger tubs just to grow them out to see what they sex out to be, and hopefully I get a bunch of females. Alright, so this is Race Car. I named him Race Car just because the stripes and he's so like clean. He's got this weird undertone to him that's definitely interesting, and some almost orange markings. Let's see if I can get that to focus real well. Some most orange markings on his side, along with that nice light colored tail. Now I'm not sure if that's considered a full pin. It probably isn't, just because it doesn't connect at the base of the tail. But I definitely enjoy him, and it's definitely one I'm going to keep. I actually got this through a wholesale order at work. Our boss orders all different species, mostly like the normal stuff, beardeds, cresteds, and corns, to come through and ship with his animals, because we do leopards. Every once in a while we get all sorts of stuff, but we're allowed to piggyback and get wholesale prices as long as it's not too crazy. So I picked up this little guy. It was one of my first cresteds I bought. I just absolutely love him, and I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna keep and breed him too. Now he's in a tank. He's in another big enclosure with another gecko that just was slightly bigger than all the rest of the babies, so I separated the two of them out. Oh, he just jumped on the tripod. So I'm gonna get the other guy out real quick, and we'll move on. Hold on. Race Car's trying to jump out of his tub. So this gecko's name is Fellow. I just didn't give him a specific name because honestly I didn't really like him that much. But he's definitely got some cool tiger flame thing going on. He was a pairing between Olga and this other crested gecko I had, a male that I no longer have. I actually sold the other male, and She had laid one egg right after she was with him, right after I separated them, and this is the gecko that hatched from that egg. Now, I don't know if any eggs she's laid since then happen to be from that male, if she happened to retain the sperm, but he's definitely got the thigh and the knee thing, and he's got some cool light tiger pattern going on. And his name's Fellow. I'm not really going to keep him just because to me it's not my favorite gecko. But of course, that's a personal thing. I have a lot of babies to go over, so I'm probably going to run through them fast. Yeah. I'm going to run through them fast. Huh, Fellow? Let's see what I can do here. That's nice. Here's how I keep a lot of my geckos, especially my babies. Well, not especially, only my babies. All my adults are in bigger tanks. But I'll keep 2, maybe 3 in a group. I was keeping 3 at first. But I have, when I first bought a bunch from Pangea, those are a little bit bigger than the babies I've been hatching out. So I keep those with the babies. They're a little bit bigger, kind of show them how to eat, how to do everything. And it kind of helps the babies work everything out and figure everything out. And then when it gets too big of a difference, I'll take the one out and I'll move in a different baby, and then it'll be the first baby with the new baby. And that kind of rotation just works out really well for me, so that's what I do. So I'm going to show you 2 geckos. I'm going to go through, I have a bunch of these, and they're not all going to be the same size. So let me put this down and take one or both out. So this gecko's name is Charger, I believe. I asked my buddy, why do they always do that? Why do they always jump in the tripod? I asked a coworker to name a bunch of them for me, and he picked like Dodges and Dodge Neon and other junk like that. All right. Anyway, he's got some kind of cool tiger pattern going on. He's being weird. With portholes, just a little bit of knee and thigh fringe, but he's definitely cool. It's one that I'm gonna end up selling. I don't know if he knows super well how to jump because he's getting a little big for that tub. I'm gonna be moving him out soon. This is his tank mate, Beetlejuice. I believe Beetlejuice is marked as a keeper on my inventory, just because the contrast on his tail to the partial pin is just insane, and I really like that. I have a couple that came out like that. I think it's because the parents are really light, so the fact that the geckos came out really dark just gives them that super high contrast. It's a pretty bright white. It's almost lily white color. I wouldn't go as far to say as it is the same color, but it definitely looks like that white, that cream that everyone's going for. This right here is Durango, another one I bought. He's got some pretty big Dalmatian spots, but not a ton of them right now. It's definitely not one that I'm keeping. Just, I mean, if I can sell a bunch and make money to buy a really nice Dalmatian, I'd rather do that. Hold on, I got one on my back. But he's pretty dark. So hopefully he sells with his big Dalmatian spots. I'm not a big fan of the tigers or the flames. They're not really my favorite. Now this one's one I produced. This one I named Winona. My mom picked it out. It actually lost its tail back when I had 3 of them together. And this is one of the main reasons I will say, and that I've also heard, that you shouldn't house multiple babies, is that they can bite each other's tails and fall off. But this is the only one it's happened to me with, and I'm actually really bummed about it. I've been keeping them less and less even after I saw this. But this is Winona. She's cool, or he's cool. Winona's a girl name, I guess, but not really because 2019. Alright, so next up we have Maruchan, or Marucan, I'm not really sure. It was named because we were eating ramen, so that's what it's named after. And as it ages, it's growing some pretty big Dalmatian spots all around. Man, these babies really like to get on my shoulder. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Come on, dude. Okay, whatever. I'll try again in a second. But nothing special here. There are like the last couple. This one kind of looks the same as them. They all have slightly unique differences. A little bit of porthole, a little bit of thigh thing. No kneecaps though, which is interesting because a lot of them have it. I figure especially nowadays it's so integrated that they all have it. Like they almost all have some kind of Dalmatian spot. But she also has kind of, I think what they call them, the oil spots where they're not as dark. She has a bunch of those all over. Now, this little one is one that I also produced. All the little ones are ones I produced because they're not as big as the other ones yet. But she's definitely in shed. Now, her name is Cruise Ship. And to be quite honest with you, she's small and she's in shed. She's like a flame tiger porthole. And there's not much special stuff going on with her. I'll probably sell her for 45, 50 bucks at a show and call it that. Now this little one here is my last one to hatch out. Its name is Renus. I really regret what I did. I made an Instagram thing. I said if whoever comments a name first gets to name the gecko. And of course my my immature friend named it Renus. You can tell it just shed its leg right there. It's hard to tell on camera, but it's definitely got some red underneath the shed. I'm hoping it turns out a nice red color. I might end up keeping it if it does. But the same guy that named it also has a hatchling for me because I gave him an adult female. I said, give me a hatchling. I don't care. You can take the adult female. Renus fell. Renus fell and like did like starfish thing. I think he scared himself. But this is Renus. Renus is alright. You're gonna hear me say like they're alright or it's nothing special. And that's not to say the gecko isn't, but from a breeding standpoint, I have to look at it as, is this gecko valuable? Should I keep it? Should I sell it for a good amount of money? Or is it just alright? And at the end of the day, Renus is just alright. This little guy's name is Omni, which I believe is another Dodge car. I should name one of them Caravan. He's got some big Dalmatian spots towards the back of his body. And I do like that color more than others, but at the end of the day, it's not what I'm going to keep. And I don't think it'll sell for a ton of money, but we can always hope, right? I love Dalmatians so much. I want one that has like high Dalmatian spots. Either I'm going to produce one or I'm going to buy one this year. We'll see. But this group, I'm going to start with the little one, and you'll understand why in a second. Of course, there she goes. They're so jumpy, I swear. So, this little one's name is Sandra Lee. My mom picked the name. At least I think she did. Sandra Lee. I think she picked Winona too. But anyway, Sandra Lee's cool. A little bit of Dalmatian spots. It'll probably get bigger while she ages. A little bit of thigh, maybe some kneecap stuff going on. But other than that, I see a bit of flame in her. But from a breeding standpoint, she's going to be sold. Actually, hold on. Okay, no, yeah, she's going to be sold. I thought I saw a back kink and I got worried, but she was just standing a little weird. Alright, for the larger gecko in this group who just pooped on me, awesome, I have Whitey Hooten, my lily white that I actually bought from Tiki's Geckos. Now, to be 100% transparent, I paid $1,000 for this gecko, plus $50 shipping. Now, it's not the brightest white lily white, and obviously I don't have $1 million to buy the best lily white, but I bought one that wasn't 500, wasn't 800, it wasn't, oh, this gecko's lily white, trust me, its parents are, and I can tell because I'm a breeder. This is you can look at this gecko and pretty much know it's a lily white, like the thighs and the knees, and the pattern on the side is so bright and bold. It almost, sorry, I keep putting my finger in the way, it almost looks like a lemon frost, the way its skin gets super bright when it's about to have a tumor. If you know anything about leopard geckos, it almost looks like that, though I don't know, gosh dang it, though I don't know anything about tumors in lily whites. I haven't heard anything. I doubt that's a thing as of yet. But of course it's a lily white. It's got the full pin, it's got the full white tail, it's almost got a full white dorsal, which I'm not really sure what you would call that, and it's also got that, I think it's called a reverse pin, where it's underneath or it's called something where there's underneath the pinstripe there's some coloring. See if I get that. You kind of see it right there. Right there. But this is kind of my prize gecko right now. I really want to get this one up to size as soon as possible, just so I can get on the hype and the even if the value goes down on these geckos by the time it's breeding, which I know it will go down a little bit. I'll still be producing some high-end animals and getting enough income to put back into my collection, if you will. Alright, this gecko's name is Dodge. For these last four, I actually have them, let me try to get the focus. I actually have them all housed alone, just because they were, for the most part, keepers, and I had 4 tubs that I didn't feel big enough to house more than one gecko. But Dodge is definitely a keeper. It's harder to pick up on camera, like you can definitely see it, but in person it's more apparent. He's got a very high contrast of dark to light, and with all that tiger or flame or whatever the heck's going on in there, plus a little bit of Dalmatian spot. And the eyes on this gecko are the part that gives me the most. Like if it was just the contrast, I'd just sell it for a little bit more, but whatever's going on with the eyes, I haven't really seen in a gecko this dark, and I'd love to produce some more dark geckos with these white eyes. I love that. If anyone out there is particularly doing that, let me know, hit me up, send me a message. I'd love to see some of your animals like that. But this is Dodge. This is Dart, obviously Dodge Dart. And Dart's in shed right now, and I'm pretty sure it's like a patternless with maybe like a hint of tiger or something. But it's very light color, and it's almost got those eyes too, but because it's a light color, it's not as drastic of a feature for it to have. But other than that, with some small Dalmatian spots, it's just a gecko, man. It's just what I'm gonna sell. It's definitely not a holdback. But that's Dodge Dart. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. This here is Neon after a Dodge Neon. Again, just like Dodge, a lot of contrast in this animal, hard to pick up on camera, and some big Dalmatian spots on the sides, which I really like. Now the tail isn't 100% complete. I'm not sure what happened there, but there's definitely like not a whole pad at the base of the tail. It's kind of short. I don't know if that's something genetic. I'm definitely, as soon as I notice it, I'll stop. But as far as I know, it's just something that happened to it as it was a baby. But I definitely love this gecko. I love the colors and the patterns, and hopefully it grows up to be a girl. This gecko is pretty orange in person, like a almost rusty orange. But it's got that kind of flame thing going on, tiny little dots. I wish a lot of them that have the dots, the Dalmatian dots, Dalmatian spots, didn't have them, just because it would look cleaner if it didn't have like those 4 little spots. And that kind of irks me, just because I like things super clean. Either it has to be super clean or like messy in a good way, and that's what I like in my reptiles. But definitely not a keeper. What's this one's name? This is Ram, Dodge Ram. Is that a truck? I mean, I know Ram's a truck, but is Ram a type of truck that Dodge makes? Question mark. Anyway, it's Ram. Now, Ram is effectively the last crested gecko I own, and the last animal I'm going to show you. But that's today's video. Hopefully you enjoyed seeing all these crested geckos and me talking about them, how I got them, how all of them work out, how, what my plans are for them, what morphs they are. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, Instagram, Twitter, Gmail, Facebook, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.